Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And today we are, well, you know what? Today we have been discussing, well, not today, but just in general, we've been discussing Neo Saban and Disney seasons. So I'm like, you know what? Why not just go ahead and continue the whole ball here, and we just go straight to Saban. So today we're just gonna talk about Saban seasons.
Yup.
We just gonna talk about Saban seasons and just basically the same thing, the same gamut, what we liked, what we didn't like, what worked, what didn't. And just give our own opinions on what we enjoyed the most and what we disliked about those seasons. Now, I do want to put a question on the floor, right? Because when we do these talks, we got to start off with a question. You know what I'm saying? Just to get the ball rolling. So each of these seasons had some very interesting little morphs. You know what I'm saying? What would be probably your favorite morph from these seasons? Now, mind you, we're talking about from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Wild Force. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, you got some top favorites up in here. But if you were to have owned your own morpher and you were like, you know what, I want my morph to look like X, Y, and Z, like your favorite morph, what would it be? I already know mine, and I'm pretty sure y'all already know mine too.
Mine would be Turbo, the first version with the original cast.
Oh, I was about to say, you just gonna stand there and just let your junk just like warp on you into lightning? Like, that's kind of boring.
Right? Yeah, I love that. Like, I remember seeing it in the movie theater. And I thought it looked so cool. And then the way that first it was the belt and the auto blaster, then the suit, and then the helmet formed around their head, and then it ended with Tommy, like it gave that little turn, so you got to see more of the helmet. That looked so cool, and I was so excited and surprised that they actually used it in the show. But that was always my favorite.
Okay. And to be honest though, like I kind of wished all of them had the 180 turn. Kind of wish all of them did, but of course Tommy was special, so I guess. But like I kind of wish all of them had the 180 turn though, because that was dope. Just like watching his hair kind of fold up as the helmet is coming on. I'm like, that's sick.
That probably was expensive too, especially if you had to do it for all five.
True.
Not that Saban didn't have the damn money.
Facts. I'm like, he kind of had the money though. So I mean, they could have done it, but it's Tommy, so why not? Lena, what's yours?
I would probably have to go with the Time Force morph. I think out of all of them, I really like theirs. And I like the way theirs look too. Like, so obviously, I guess it's a whole futuristic looking morphers, and just everything about that whole morph just looked so fancy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's crazy to think that we're not far from the year 3000 now. Like,
I mean, we're still kind of far.
But we are, but we're not far. We're not as far as we were once when the series actually came out. It's kind of scary.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've advanced very far technologically since the season came out. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, and plus too, like, I really like that the little DNA little chromosome looking thing, and how it like warped in their little, in their bodies, and it formed a little suit. That's kind of cool. I was like, oh, okay, I like it.
I like how it's so like DNA locked too, so it's like not anyone can morph, only you.
That was a cool touch.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool, because like I just felt like it really made it unique that like you were truly chosen for this job. Like no one else could be you.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So come on, Brennan, tell us your favorite morph.
Girl, y'all already know what my favorite one is.
Oh, we know. But the listeners don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure as much as they heard us mention anything about our favorites, they know, like, they didn't heard me say Zio 100 times. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just.
I was thinking probably the newness because it was so new. Because we had Mighty Morphin for 3 years, and then of course your favorite Tanya is in there.
I mean, well, that's like one of the main reasons. But like, well, also too, like for me, I guess like to me, the morph still holds up even to this day. Like, cause you know how like some morphs just look kind of like, like, I mean, for me personally, like just not trying to be funny at all. But the original Mighty Morphin morph does not hold up for me. Like it doesn't really hold up well. Because now we've gotten so intricate as far as like, you know, seeing how the bodies change in the morphing process and all of that. I mean, they did kind of give us a little teaser, a little taste, a little mwah, you know, on season 3. They did do a little something, but Zio was the first morph that really actually showed the Rangers literally changing from like one suit to the other, from their, you know, civilian forms to their Ranger forms. Like it actually showed that. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. And plus like the actual grid looking thing forming over the body before the energy, you know, forms the suit. I thought that was really cool. Like I was like, oh wow, like that's actually kind of badass. So for me, like I really enjoyed seeing that. Just the morph itself always kind of was like the morph along with the suit. You know, it was just something about it that was just like, yes, you know? So like, and that's just one of the reasons why Zio is like one of my, you know, favorites. And also too, it feeds into nostalgia, definitely for me. Like it feeds into nostalgia. So I'm just like, I really, I fucks with it tough. But the reason why I asked is because like the morph is like one of the biggest parts of the show, and because it's like it's like the part, like it's like the part that leads into like the fight, and it's like, and that's one of the things that we love about Power Rangers. Now, I will say this: when it comes to the show itself, and I want to ask you guys this just to kind of just kind of see, you know, what your ideas of this, but when it comes to the show itself, what do you like about Power Rangers? Like what really, you know, what really sold you on it as far as like this is what I come to see when I'm watching Power Rangers. Like this is what I want to see. Like what's that one thing that really gets you?
I think the martial arts aspect, that was something that really got me into it. That's like my genre, like a martial arts show or film or something with action where there's like you know, good fight sequences. Cause I feel like that was, oh my goodness. I think Power Rangers is actually what sparked it, really. Because everything else that I watched after that kind of had shades of that, like Buffy, oh my god, Walker, Texas Ranger, they had really cool fight sequences.
Come on, Walker.
And then like just so much stuff after that. So that and that's what got me into martial arts as a kid too. I can't remember if I watched Saved by the Bell before that, or probably at the same time, because Power Rangers is like one of the first things that I remember. Watching Saved by the Bell, it was, you know, similar with the whole, you know, the cheesy high school kids show. And then Power Rangers was basically that, but with martial arts and morphing and giant robots.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess the suits too, the different colors, having you know, the format of the team, 3 boys, 2 girls. It was like it was like Power Rangers has so many different things that make it what it is, and it's just kind of like different things that kind of appeal to me. So that was a weird answer, but it's like it's so like burned in my brain and in my DNA, because it was like one of the first things, like I said, that I actually remember. I don't even remember how I like first saw it. Like I don't even remember really. It's oh gosh, it's just I can't even explain it.
It's just always been there.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. Like, what about you, Lena?
For me, I think the first like most thing that caught me was basically woman in spandex and kicking butt. Obviously, Kimberly wasn't a great example of that, but she was super cute doing it. So I gave her.
Damn! Don't say that. She was a badass. I love.
Well, she was a badass until she started screaming for whoever and whenever. Remember, it used to be like Jason, and then it became Billy, and then it was Tommy. I love her. Don't get me wrong. She's still my favorite ultimate pink ranger, but I think what really like exactly what you said, like it was the martial art and the fact that it was woman empowerment in martial arts. Like that was like, what? There are girls on this team. And like furthermore, like obviously as we got as each season came to be, it was like, whoa, there are different girls. And I think for me, the one that really, really got me most was Cassie. When I see Cassie as Pink, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That that is it. Like, this is amazing. I love this. I love this show. I love everything about this. And I think that's what did it for me, because it was like I love Kimberly and I love Pink because of her. But then as time went on, it got better when Cassie came into the picture, and I was like, an actual Asian woman who is Pink. What more can I ask for? That's it. You got me for life.
Love it. No, like I feel you on that. And it's funny though, because it's funny that you said that, because I actually am the same way with you. To be truthfully honest, I'm actually the same way. Wow. It wasn't just the martial arts that got me, like it was actually watching women kick ass. Because for me, like, I mean, we see guys fighting all the time.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying?
All
like
the time.
We see that all the time. But, you know, to see women doing it and doing it just as well as the men, it's like, yo, that is badass. And for me, like, I've always been like the type that's just like loves, you know, I love to see, like, I grew up off of like Wonder Woman, you know, Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And watching Wonder Woman with her hair and them tights. You know, just like, I mean, she didn't really fight. I mean, she was tossing people. You know what I'm saying? And being gorgeous while doing it, and the hair flipping, and the, you know, it's just like, I was like, oh my God, like, this is so cool. And, you know, to see this in Power Rangers and, you know, see all of that, like, gorgeousness and still be, you know, straight up beautiful while kicking ass, it's like, you can't beat that. Like, that's awesome, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, absolutely. And that's what got me to like Xena. That's what got me to Xena.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You know, Xena. Like, right? And Buffy, like, I know Will loves Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, that's what got me to all those shows where I'm like, these women, they're just everything. They're everything. They're everything for all these little girls out there. They're everything for all the men that admire them for, you know, for not for their sexuality, but for like what they can do, what they can accomplish with their body. And, you know, like, meaning like, it's crazy
being able to handle themselves.
Yes, exactly. That's what that was like when I said that, I was like, wait, that's not wrong. Yes, but yes, exactly. Being able to handle it. And I think what's even cooler is to be able to manipulate your body to be able to do that too. You know, like no matter what your size is, no matter how short, tiny, or tall and like lanky, whatever you are, to be able to do that, like, is amazing.
No, seriously. And that's the thing that I just loved about watching them, because it was just like, especially, it, like, and I understand, like, of course, more fights, most of the time that's not the actresses. You know what I'm saying? We know that. But like one of the things I used to always love to see, and Catherine Sutherland executed this perfectly, is the scorpion kick. I live for that kick. Like, because I've seen it in a martial arts movie before, and like I forget what movie it was, but I've seen it in another movie before ever seeing Catherine do it on Power Rangers. And I was like, and as soon as I saw her do it, and she was, by the way, she's the first ever to do it, it was just like, holy crap, that is amazing. Like, it just blew my mind to see. And then, of course, that becomes a part of Kira's fighting style in Dino Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Because the Yellow Ranger, like, when she was fighting, like, she was forever doing a scorpion kick. And I'm like, give it to me again. Do it again. I love it. So it's just, anytime I see anyone do a scorpion kick, and it's always women who do it, and it just looks beautiful. It just looks stunning every time I see it.
Absolutely.
So like that's always been something for me, like you. That's always been something for me that was just like, to see women kick ass and be just as good as men, and sometimes look better. To be honest, like sometimes even look better than the guys.
Yep.
So I just love it, and just in general, the shows itself for me, like when it comes to like the fight scenes and things like that, I personally, I will say this, out of fight scenes alone, I would probably say Power Rangers season 2, to me, had some of the best fight scenes in Power Rangers history. Like, to me,
with that, yeah.
Like, what do you guys think? Like, I mean, personally, for me, I think season 2 had like some of the best choreography in just like the entire franchise.
For sure, yeah. Especially, I would say later on I think for me it started later on in season 1. Whenever they got Jeff Pruitt to be the stunt coordinator. And then that traveled into season 2. That, oh my God. So I'm something that is kind of stuck in my head. Walter Zach, he jumped up on a tree and he
I know
basically
exactly
used
what
a
fight scene you're
branch.
talking about.
Yeah, he used a branch like he was a freaking gymnast, like on a bar, and then did a kick. Oh, that was so freaking cool. And there was a fight scene with I can't remember all the moves right now, but I remember it just being awesome. It was in season 2, it was Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy. They were being attacked in the park, and the event that was they were having, it was being videotaped, and then they were being taped fighting the putties, and then they morphed and it was all on camera. Oh my God. And then another one that I really liked was the putty on the brain fight scene.
When Zach almost punched the shit out of Trini.
Yeah. Yes.
And Trini was sitting there looking like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, bruh.
That was awesome. There were so many good ones. And the Return of the Green Ranger fight scene. Adam did the freaking butterfly twist. Beautiful. Oh my God. It's so awesome.
No, it's totally fair. I mean, like, for me, especially season 2, I don't know what it is, But and not to say that the originals didn't do their thing, because they definitely did. I mean, the originals definitely, like, they set the bar extremely high. But I can't lie, them replacements, their successors, oh, they kicked ass. Because I promise you, I don't know what it is, but Steve Cardenas reminded me so much of Jean-Claude Van Damme with those kicks and them splits.
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh, like, dude was doing splits like it was nobody's business. I'm like, come on, Rocky. Like, how dare, like, and this is what really bothers me when fans be like, oh, Rocky was whack. Are you serious? Do you not see what I see? Dude's legs? Oh my God, the stuff he would be doing, like, dude would just bust out in a split in a heartbeat. I'm like, yo, like, Rocky's choreography was insane. The stuff that he would be doing. I'm like, oh my God, it's mind blowing. Like, and then Johnny as Adam, oh my God. Like, there's one particular fight scene that I particularly, like, I stand for to this day. The fight scene where it was Tommy, Adam, and Rocky. It was the episode where Aisha was tripping about being fire safety captain. Yes. Oh my God. That fight scene where they was fighting the Z-Putties, mwah, chef kiss. It was amazing. I'm like, literally, Rocky and Adam both outshine Tommy. Literally, by themselves, both of them outshine Tommy. I'm like, yo, like, I was just looking at just the fight scene alone. I'm like, and how could you sit here and say that Rocky was not cool? I freaking loved Rocky. I'm like, what the heck? Loved it. And for me, you know, just like I said, just going back and just like, just like season 2, just, I don't know what it is about season 2, but they really amped it. And like you said, when Jeff Pruitt really came on, I feel like, especially on season 2, I feel like Jeff Pruitt just really took it and was like, yo, I'm going to try to take this and try to do as many crazy things, of course, within the guidelines of the FCC, you know, because of course they couldn't do headshots and, you know, all that kind of stuff, even though they were still doing some crazy hardcore moves. They just wasn't hitting people in the head, or in the face. But, you know, it was just like, yo, like, this is insane. Like, oh my God. And I do understand that, of course, as time went on, it was like, okay, they can't really do those kind of hardcore moves anymore, because obviously, you know, it's like the FCC was really coming after them like hardcore. It was like, oh my God, you're too violent for children. So they had to tone it down. But still, the show was still kind of really, it still was giving us, it still was really serving us all the things, especially for me on Turbo Part 1 with the original cast. Because Catherine was forever getting punched in her stomach. I'm like, if y'all punch this girl in her stomach one more time.
that threw me off, because I didn't expect to see that. Because I had found out why they stopped doing the unmorph fights before that. So to see them actually showing a ranger get hit and a female ranger get hit, that really threw me for a loop. I didn't expect that. And I think that they cut, in some places they cut that out.
Yeah. Like, for example, that specific scene, and I'm referring to the episode where the Shadow Rangers episode, where the Chromite literally runs and punched Catherine in the stomach and she went flying. But that particular scene, they actually cut. Because there's actually, I remember seeing when they re-aired that episode, when they would re-air it, they would literally edit that part out, and it would go straight to Tanya, you know, like throwing her punch or whatever. But yeah, they cut out a lot of those punches landing on that particular episode. They cut a lot of that stuff out, because I guess it was too much. But they really was like letting the fist fly in Turbo, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, I love it. Like, and of course, it's like, well, don't be doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all doing a little bit too much now. Come on now. But my thing is, and this is just me, of course, the fight scenes and all that stuff, all of that is extremely important. When it comes to Power Rangers, that's extremely important. But what was a storyline for you from any of these seasons that really stuck out for you, like a storyline? And it doesn't have to be like your favorite or whatever, but which one just kind of like was like, or a couple that was just kind of like, oh, like this was like, yo.
Well, for me, it has to be Time Force, Power Rangers Time Force. I really like that storyline. I thought it was very different from anything we previously had, and it wasn't high school, so that I really thoroughly enjoyed that. I really like the space line Time Force too. Wow, what did I just freaking say?
The space line? What are we doing?
Oh my god! I also really like Power Rangers in Space Timeline too.
Okay.
Got you. Okay.
I said Space Time. I don't know what I just said there. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that one. And I think if I had to choose one more, I really like the Lost Galaxy timeline storyline as well.
Okay.
So those would be my top three. They're different. I guess I'm not like you guys, where I know, like Brandon, with you really love the whole high school thing. I'm over the whole high school thing. I don't really care for the high school thing. And I'm glad that like they had a few of the adult series situation going on. And so I was all for it.
A different shade of pink. The whole build up to
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that choked me up. Almost killed me. Oh god.
The whole build up to just really actually like that whole Catherine's introduction, which I did not remember as a child. I did not remember that. I literally when I was going back to watch season 3 as an adult, I thought that Kat was just created. I didn't remember her origin at all, but that was a really cool origin story. She had Rita had put the spell on her, and then to see her, I guess the goodness in her broke the spell, and then
I mean, it's really good though, because she still was pining for Tommy even after she broke the spell.
Well, at that point, the next time we really saw her trying to go after Tommy was in Zeo. After that, there wasn't anything.
No, because like after that,
she was kind of making little eyes,
right?
Stuff like
it wasn't as blatant as what we got in, and it's not. And I mean, at least she wasn't actually trying to ask him out on a date, because she like respected that Kimberly was dating
him. Did she
him.
though? I mean, did she really respect Kimberly, or was she just trying to play?
They didn't do anything until after after Kimberly broke up with him.
I mean, she did respect it a little bit, but as soon as that happened, girl went in like a shark.
She did.
She was like, "Oh, he's free."
She did. She's like, "Oh, Tommy, if you ever
he's free,
I'm here for you, okay, Tommy? Okay."
Okay. Gosh. And
like
I
a bloodhound.
Right.
I smell he's free.
I love that the dilemma that Kimberly had. She had such a great opportunity to do gymnastics in the Pan Global Games, but she also had her responsibilities as a ranger, so she was actually going to give up. She was going to stay and continue her duty, but Gordon let her say
something for that real quick. I felt like the way she was bringing it up, she was basically looking for everyone to tell her to go. She was really asking for permission so she wouldn't have
I
to feel
agree.
guilty. You know, it's the way she brought it up. Because, like, if she was really going to stay, she would have never said a darn thing. Someone would have had to find a letter or something with evidence that proved that she was asked to go. And she, you know, she was like, no, I'm a Power Ranger. I need to protect my planet. Then she was going to stay. But the way she kept bringing it up and the way she was like, you sure? Oh, okay.
I mean, but I
Like,
I didn't have any issues with that at all because that was her dream before she became a Power Ranger.
oh, of
So
course. But the thing is, but you cannot stand here and try to tell me that she was willing to sacrifice her dreams. No.
if they said no, if they said
No.
we need you, I don't think that she would have left.
That's not even the point. The point was that she was literally bringing it up in a way that made them basically told her, yes, go for your dreams. She did it in a sly way. Brendan, help me out here.
No, I mean, I see where you're going with it, Lena. Now personally, like I can see both sides because while I definitely do agree that like this was always her thing and stuff, and this was always like her dream or whatever, but had they asked her to stay, she would have. I personally also do see where Lena's coming from as well, because it was just like she was almost asking for permission just to be like, can't do it. And it was just like, okay, girl, if you wanna go, just go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to keep asking us this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost kind of like she was like asking for approval when she already pretty much was like, I'd rather do this than to stay a Power Ranger.
Exactly.
Like, that's really what it was. It was just like, if you guys really need me, I'ma stay. But you know what I'm saying? I actually really do want to do this instead.
Exactly.
And it was kind of like that whole thing of like, well, I really do want to do this though. But I mean, if you need me, but I really want to do this over here. And it was just like, all right, fine. We got Catherine. You can go ahead and go. Oh, okay, great. Bye, guys. That's kind of how
right.
That's kind of how it felt. It was just like, But I think the writing for definitely they were trying to push the importance of her really wanting to be a gymnast. I really think that was the writing.
And I was just saying, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think I think it could have been portrayed differently, where instead of making her seem a little, this is the vibe I got. It made her seem a little selfish, just a tad. And again, I get it. It was always her dream to become a gymnast. It was always her dream to compete in the Pan Globals. That's not. I'm not trying to take that away from her, but I think the writing should have portrayed that slightly differently. Where because I'm sure you probably remember where she was like, no, you guys need me, so I'm gonna stay. But then Zordon's like, no, you should go. You should do this. Okay, you know what? On second thought, I'll do it. It was just sort of that hesitant where she tried, she brought it up to be like, no, it's important for me to do this because I'm a ranger. But then turn around, I was like, well, you know what? You don't have to tell me twice. I'm out of here, and that's the vibe I got from her. It definitely could have been portrayed differently where, she should pursue her dreams and that she should move on. Just kind of like how they, passed the torch with, the Zeo Rangers, where when they chose the Turbo as their successors, right? I like how they did that, where it was like, no, you guys need to move on and experience life and yada, yada, yada. I love that speech. Had it been portrayed something like that, I would have like, you know what? Go for it, Kim. Go for it. Go get your dreams, right? But it was just the way that they used her personality to portray it, to see it seemed slightly selfish, where she knew that's what she truly wanted, and she was really hoping that they would be okay with it. And it just worked out that they were okay with it. Versus where it was like, no. You've been a ranger long enough. I think it's time that you should try and see if you can succeed as a gymnast. We thank you for your service. Should we need you again, you know what? We will let you know. Kind of, I think it should have been something like that, where how with the whole transfer of power, where I remember that moment and it was so empowering because I remember thinking, you know what? That's so nice to be considered and think, these guys are now adults. They need to move on with their lives. They need to find out who they are and, build a life, whatever that might be. Meanwhile, let teenagers risk their life to save the planet. That was always the vibe I got. But yes, sorry. But he thought it was funny. It's like, oh, you're adults. You guys are more important. These kids, if they die, they die. That was literally.
Like we're just totally bringing in these untrained kids,
right?
and just giving them powers and being like, all right, go for it, guys,
Like, that was
but no, like
the time I got there too. But anyways, my main point is like they could have portrayed that a little more differently versus make her seem slightly selfish over it. That's my opinion on that.
No, and I feel you. Like I do agree. It was selfish and it was almost kind of manipulative.
Yeah.
It was kind of manipulative because it was just like, not in a bad way. Like don't take the word manipulative in a bad way. It wasn't bad because because the thing is like the way in which I'm using manipulative. It's not like she was just like, oh yeah, I was manipulating y'all the whole time. I was just tricking y'all. No, it wasn't nothing like that. But it was more like she definitely was like I said earlier, it was just kind of like one of those situations where it's like, if you don't need me, I'm gonna just go over here. But if you do need me, I'll stay. That's kind of manipulative. It's like it's forcing you to be like, all right, we're gonna reevaluate this. We really don't actually need you. We got Cat over here. We don't need you. And she's like, I bet. Peace out. You know what I'm saying?
She ran out there
that's kind of what it was.
She ran out.
Right. I mean, she dipped. But it was just like, but that's kind of what it felt like. It was just like, all right, well, cool. But yeah, like I agree actually. Like that storyline it's to me probably one of the best well-written storylines in Mighty Morphin, for damn sure. Like it was definitely one of the best well-written ones, because like Kimberly had like one of the best send-offs. Like she really did. I mean, even though she was almost killed, but also like definitely that. But she also not to try to be funny or something, but she almost got killed. Like if you really think about like the seriousness of this whole situation, of her whole storyline, of her whole plot, it was like Kimberly was seen as such a threat to Lord Zed and Rita. Like she was really seen as a big threat to the point where they were like, we got to kill this girl. We got to kill her. Ain't no just we're gonna destroy them. Right. Like it ain't like we just like, oh no, like we'll get those back. We'll get those kids next time. No, they were fed up. They were like, no, we gonna get her. We got to get rid of her. And they literally almost did. Like they were almost successful. So it's like, yo, like this is intense for a kid show. This is kind of intense. So I definitely agree.
And I was gonna say another one was Kendricks's death, and then her spirit choosing the former
Carone.
astronomer. Yeah, that was so cool. And then the next episode where Carone, she got to fight astronomer, and she got she got that armor that should have been hers, but
agreed.
And then it was over, and she got nothing else. But that 2-episode stretch for Carone, and then I guess 3 episodes altogether, including Kendrick's. That was well, I guess it was I'm so sorry. It started off as Kendrick's death, then she chooses Carone, and then Carone, we got to kind of go a little bit into, some of the regret she had for being astronomer. Or I guess more so, she had to face her past physically and literally. That was really cool. They had they had quite a few really cool stories. For Wild Force, I actually just the whole history with Cole and Master Org, with Master Org killing Cole's parents because of pure jealousy, for Master Org to actually have no regrets and no redemption. That's
the thing that got
shocked
me.
me. That is so, like, they usually don't do that in Power Rangers. So that was something that I appreciated with that season.
That, like, can we just talk about that for like 2.5 seconds? Like, let's sit in that for a moment. Like, Wild Force high key, granted, good child, but
yeah,
they had some moments that was like, yo. They had some moments that was really intense. Like, I'll never forget, like, that one episode, and that actually came from that episode that you're referring to. Like, that was probably one of the best well-written episodes to me in Power Rangers. That was a very well-written episode. And it actually had nothing to do with the Sentai. That's why I was like, if they would have stepped out of the Sentai for like 2.5 seconds, John Sakura, I'm talking about you, because he's a huge Sentai fan, and that's why that show was literally carbon copied of Gao Ranger. It was like literally line for line. But when they literally stepped out the Sentai and actually decided to tell their own story, that was, to me, when Wild Force got good. I was like, oh, we doing this? Oh, what is this, honey? Like, I was like, oh, snap. Like, it was really refreshing to actually see them, like, actually come up with a story on their own. And I'm like, this is actually really good, because, you know, it was just like, for Master Org to literally admit, yes, I murdered your parents and I enjoyed it. I had fun doing it. It's like,
that
yo,
crazy.
Get him.
Right.
Get him. It was just like, yo, like, I literally remember, and like, I actually did not watch it while it aired. I literally did not watch it while it aired. It actually was literally, I went back and watched Wild Force while actually watching Ninja Storm, because at the time, like, they would air like some Ninja Storm stuff, but like also too, like, I think it was like, or was it Ninja Storm that I went back and watched Wild Force? I don't even remember, but I do remember like going on like YouTube and kind of like, you know, just kind of like being like, let me kind of see, you know, some stuff. So whenever YouTube started uploading, when somebody started uploading Wild Force on YouTube, like, that's when I started watching it. So I can't remember the exact time, but I went back and I was watching some of the stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, I never even realized this even happened. Like, I didn't even know, and was gooped and gagged. Like, yo, excuse me? This happened? And I'm just like, yo, I actually have to go back and watch this season. Now, mind you, when I went back and watched it, I was like, why did I do this? But at the same time, I was gagged, because it's like, yo, for real? This is what we doing? And then for him to actually die. Like, he literally went full org, and you would think, oh, okay, well, they're just gonna, because most seasons now, they'll just go ahead and they'll, you know, revert him back human, and then he'll just, you know, he'll just have to, you know, live with the fact that, oh, I did such a terrible thing, but I have redemption. Oh my God, please, you know, mercy. But nah, he was dead. It was like, oh, nah, kill him. And I'm like, yo,
and
this is great.
It was he deserved it.
And he deserved it. You know, it's just like, it literally taught a valuable lesson of, if you do bad things, if whatever karma you get, whatever consequences you get, that's what you have to live with. And his consequence was death.
And not everybody is going to be redeemed. Not everybody is a good person.
Right. And
that's just life.
Yeah. Like that, it actually taught a very good lesson. Like, it taught a very good lesson. You're right, for sure. So I have to say, like, Wild Force, definitely did, they ramped it up for sure with that. Now I can't say for the rest of the season, but but that particular thing, I was like, yo, that was actually badass. I was like, all right, Wild Force, I see you. I
a green candle. Green candle is pretty cool.
I feel you.
When Tommy came back for Return of an Old Friend, I remember watching that when it aired. Oh my god, that was so cool.
That was a good episode.
And the fight scene that they had, the American footage fight scene that they had in Rita's Dark Dimension, when Billy was under control, he stole the Dragon Dagger, and then we had the who was it? Tom? Oh God, who was it? Jason, Trini, Zach, and Kimberly were fighting Goldar and the Putties. That was freaking awesome. And then the other, in part two, the other American fight scene they had with Tommy trying to get the Dragon Dagger and the power coins, and that fight scene was freaking awesome. Goldar hit a fucking split to like evade Tommy's Tommy's kick. That was awesome. And oh my god, and then when when Goldar took the power coins from the Rangers and he talking mad shit.
Yo, Goldar.
That was hilarious when he
dead ass, Zach's, yo. I would have been fighting Goldar, yo.
Yo, when he took Zach's and then he called him a fool afterwards. Oh my god, that was
Goldar
hilarious.
was talking cash money junk. I was like, yo, Goldar, meet me outside, yo. Meet me outside. Like, you talking cash money. Like, yo, that junk was crazy. That was good. That was good. That was good. I was like, yo, Goldar coming in with the quips.
Yeah, you can't ask me anything else because all this stuff is floating in my head now. Damn it. Let's move on.
But no.
I guess it's your turn, right?
Yeah, but yeah, like for me, like some of my favorite moments, just like, oh man, like some of my favorite moments for me, like, well, of course, like I cannot skip out on one of the best moments of all time when Billy turned down the Zeo crystal and gave it to Tanya. Oh my God, that to me, it was just that whole scene. That whole scene was just so eloquently done. Like that to me was just like, and just like how Tanya just was like instantly just like, I'll step down. Like she was quick. Like, you know what? Y'all all been here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all
the fact that she even thought that she was going to get it was interesting.
Yo, dead ass though. Dead ass.
I mean, did she use the crystal? That's why she considered herself as a candidate?
Well, Aisha gave it to her, but originally they thought that they were going to give it to Billy. That's what I thought was established. And then I guess at some point she thought that she was going to get it for some reason. And then that was, then Billy gave it to her. Billy following real quick, Billy following in the footsteps of giving immense power to an untrained teenager.
Well, I mean, that's that's just how it goes. Like, you just give power to anybody. Shoot, like that's just what we do. But no, like I can kind of see how she would have thought that she would have gotten it, because it's like, I mean, she was there. So technically, it was just like, all right, well, I'm here, so I guess I'm gonna get some power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess. But then when Billy was like, well, I mean, it's only 5 subcrystals, so only 5 people can get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, And then instantly when she realized that, it was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to get it. So, I mean, let me go sit my behind down. And it was just like, nah, hold up. Don't you go nowhere, because I'm actually going to be on that's going to sit down. And my thing was, and this was always a joke that I always saw online, where people was like, oh, so Billy was going to be Zeo Ranger too, and he was going to have a skirt? Like that was always the joke. And I'm like, actually, I find that kind of funny that people thought, because like we already had like promo scenes of there being two females. So really in actuality, like we already kind of knew Tanya was going to be the Yellow Ranger. We already kind of knew.
And she, when she was
but
teleported, she was yellow.
She was
and
yellow.
She should have been white
So
technically because she wasn't.
She should have been white. Exactly. She should have been white. But you know, and to be truthfully honest too, when they teleported out of Command Center, they actually teleported in their original colors.
Right.
But Tanya should have been white instead of yellow. Right. She should have been white.
I guess they forgot. Or maybe
trying to be.
Or maybe it was because she was in possession. Well, I guess she touched. I guess that doesn't even matter because, like you said, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because they had their Mighty Morphin colors.
They could have just been using an old footage.
I don't think.
Well, it wasn't from a
scene.
It wasn't from a scene that had happened already. It was from that episode. But I guess, like, maybe
the Japanese series.
They didn't have teleportation there. It was, I guess, like, I don't know. Maybe they just weren't thinking.
Well, no, I think honestly, I think it was kind of like a little clue in, like not clue in, but like kind of like a little foreshadowing thing.
That's a straight up spoiler.
I mean, yes. Definitely spoiler. But I mean, I do kind of feel like maybe it was like foreshadowing in a sense because it was like they already replaced Aisha. But I do think that because technically, like at that point, Tanya was not a Ranger. So it was just like for her to all of a sudden get a yellow teleportation versus white, because if you remember when Rocky, Adam, and Aisha was teleported, they were always white every time. Their colors were always white. So it was just like for her to get yellow instantly, I feel like was kind of like a directorial thing, kind of like being like a spoiler type thing, or kind of like a foreshadowing thing, like pay attention. You know what I'm saying? They was kind of trying to be smart a little bit.
I don't agree.
Being like,
I think that they weren't paying attention and just did it, like, and then probably never noticed.
Well, you know what?
Because I don't think they care. And I don't think that they cared that much about the character, honestly, to even make sure that they didn't do that. You know. So
I mean, to be fair, they did like crash bomb us with a lot of Tanya stuff just to kind of get her out of the way. Yeah. At the beginning of Zeo, they bombed us with Tanya stuff. It was just like, all right, Tanya. All right, we're done. Let's go.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what they did with her. And like, I'm like, y'all could have spaced this out a little bit at least. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna not give her much to do, at least space it out. I mean, it was like the first 5 episodes. Within the first 5 episodes, we got all of Tanya, and it was like, all right, we're done. It's like, okay, fine. I do kind of feel like they were. I'll just go with this. I'll just go with they were just being foreshadowy and just being like, all right, she may become yellow. She might. But yeah, like I just always kind of felt like that scene was so cool because of course it led into them, getting their Zeonizers, and that whole scene accompanied by the background music, with the harmonies. I'm like, yes!
Oh, wow.
That scene is amazing. I love it. And then, of course, they get their little suits, and then they take off the helmets, and then you hear the guitar riff.
That was so cool.
Just everything about that moment.
Yeah.
It's just one of the best scenes to me in Power Rangers history. It's just that right
and
there.
I loved how they paid that homage to the original when they turned around and they saw all their suits and their weapons. For me, the thing that kind of spoiled it a little bit for me was the fact that the Green Ranger wasn't in there too. And I think, and it was weird because after Tommy lost his powers, it seemed like they always portrayed, when they would look back on the Green Ranger, they will always portray him badly. Even though he did a bunch of good as the Green Ranger, he was a good guy more, for a longer time than not when he was a Green Ranger.
Well, also to for that, and I'll say this too, when to me, and this is just me, like I know for the most part, a lot of fans love him as White, but for me, I always loved Tommy as the Green Ranger. Like, to me, Tommy was at his best when he was green. For me, because it was just like, and for me, and I've always said this, Tommy was a better character when he was green, because it was just like he felt human. Like, dude would forget stuff. He was always late. Like, it was just like, dude was like, listen, Zordon, I got a karate. I got an audition. When he auditioned with that little thing, and Bulk was in there too. I think it was like a commercial or something like that. And like, he was late to fighting because he was auditioning. That's real. It's like, yo, I got other stuff I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciated that. It was like, yo, like, I have a life. So I'm like, cool. And like I said, like, he was always forgetful. He had problems that people faced. It always kind of felt like he was human, much less than like when he was with the White Ranger, where it was just like, all of a sudden, he just became invincible and he was perfect. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh no, Tommy never made a mistake ever. Like, I mean, it was just like, he always was punctual. He was always like, all the stuff that we got from him when he was green just went out the window. It was like the white light just corrected every little like bad thing in him, and he was now like this perfect human being.
I mean, in the comics, we saw that was actually the case.
I mean, well, right. And also in the comics, they made him so damn powerful that he couldn't even sleep. But there's that too. But, it was just like, I always kind of felt like they overdid him when he was the White Ranger. And that's why I feel like that's why the White Ranger was in the cage was in the glass case instead of the Green Ranger, because the White Ranger was just always this embodiment of perfection. Which, I mean, we're not going to go there because that can also parallel other things.
Wow.
But damn. If you know, you know. But anyway, if you know, you know. But yeah, like, it just always kind of felt like the White Ranger was always like this symbol of like perfection. And Green was just kind of like, he's so faulty. His powers were failing and all this stuff. But like you, I always felt like Green was better. Like, he did much more cooler things when he was green than White for me. So I don't know. But yeah, like that moment was beautiful. I've always enjoyed that moment. And then also the moment for me, that I thoroughly enjoyed in Power Rangers was the moment in Lost Galaxy, where Trakina fought them for the last time, the finale.
Oh God.
That moment is probably one of the best moments in Power Rangers history for me. First of all, the choreography was badass. Like, Trakina in her final form, she wiped the floor with them. It was like, yo. Like, them mugs, they pulled out all the stops and she still whooped their asses. It was just like, like, give them a break. She was not lifting her knee off their necks. It was like, no, like, y'all are going down. And I love the intensity of it. Coupled with at the very end when they finally, got rid of her and Terra Venture crashed in the Marinoid, which they didn't know at the time. And then, Maya finding out, holy crap, like, this is on planet. Like, so the whole show just completely did like a complete 360, and we're right back to like where we started. And I'm like, yo, that's freaking insane. Like, I would have never thought that they would have ended up right back in Marinoid. Like, who would have thought that? I'm like, that is creative as hell. That was super creative for the writers to do that. And that, to me, that just shows like the show can be good when they want it to be.
When they put effort in, yeah.
Right. Like when they actually put effort into their writing, the show can be good. And it's just like that was such a beautiful moment. And just to watch the Quasar Sabers go back in the stone where they were originally pulled. And the energy from the Quasar Sabers just completely just healing the entire planet and awakening its people again. And also bringing back Kendrix in this like beautiful moment. And she's walking from the light like a scene from Touched by an Angel or something. Like when
That's
Delarice would come in.
Oh my God.
When Delarice would come in and she'd be like, now, baby, got that white light around her. And she's like, now, baby, don't you jump from this here mountain now. It's okay. Don't you jump. Because your life is much more important. You still got work to do, baby. And the person just like, oh no, I don't. It's like, yes, you do, honey. Yes, you do. Get down from that ledge, baby. Get down from that ledge. Like that's what it was given. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Oh my God. And like that scene just really always gets me. It always gets me. But but I asked that because it's like Power Rangers for me, like those, like we called all these fantastic scenes and these from these fantastic seasons. Like these scenes, they really shaped like just a lot of what we love of the show. Now, I will say that I will ask this though. What was something in Power Rangers that made you go, y'all could have done this better? Or, why didn't we get X, Y, and Z? Or, what could we have done? What did we did not like from these seasons?
Oh gosh.
I got
there's quite a few. There's quite a few. As a big fan of Tanya, it would have been great to have seen some more focus for that character. In particular, you and I talked about this before, how after Trini, we didn't get another like a focus episode on a Yellow Ranger where she's also, morphed and has to fight with the monster of the day. We didn't have that again until Ashley. So both Aisha and Tanya, I would have loved if they would have gotten something like that in one of their focus episodes.
Right. Because none of them actually got a kill at all. Like, even though Tanya, she weakened the monster, but she never got a kill.
What else was there? Oh God, big one. What the hell happened to the Zeo powers?
That's the one that I was gonna say. That was mine. Yeah.
And them not the Zeo powers were never actually destroyed, and there was no explanation in the Turbo movie and no clear explanation of why they had to get new powers to go on this new mission to save Jason and Kimberly and fight Dubois. Also, in Turbo, I think it would have been really cool if we had gotten to see the veterans interacting with the newbies, like training them to see what their relationship, the new team's relationship was to Zordon, because from what we saw, like they don't really know Zordon. He just showed up at their ceremony. But in space, they're like, oh my God, we have to find Zordon. And it seems like they actually cared about him. So like what happened in between when the new Turbo Rangers took power, and when we came back in the next episode and they've already been Rangers for a certain amount of time. Countdown to Destruction. I like some of I don't know if this was like actually in the cards, but the idea of most of the originals coming, or most of the former Rangers coming back to reprise their roles for that, I think that would have been really cool and made that finale even more epic than it was. Like where the hell, like even Justin, where the hell was he?
I was just gonna say that. Where did Jessica go?
I didn't have a problem with it until I still don't really have a problem with it, but I can see where my friend's coming from. When I showed my friend the Time Force finale, I think he actually had remembered this from when he was a kid too, but he thought that it was super lame that Rancic became a good guy at the end. However, however, it was good that he went to jail, but then they undid it in reinforcements from the future. And then he became a human, and then I guess he wasn't in jail anymore when he went back to the future. I guess, I don't know.
Right, which is also kind of like, so what you're trying to say is being a mutant is bad?
Discriminating.
Right, that's kind of discriminatory. Because that's what I always got. I'm like, so basically what you're trying to say is being a mutant is a terrible thing. Even though we just had an episode where Trip was literally defending a mutant because he was a mutant.
Yeah.
So you're basically like counter arguing, like you're messing up your own argument, basically.
And when I watched Reinforcements from the Future, I instantly was thinking like, wow, so what happened next? Because in particular for Wes and Jim,
right?
Because it looked like they were like, she mentioned like, I think it's time for me to make my own destiny. So did she stay in 2002? And did he maybe sometimes go to the year 3000? I guess 3002 at that point.
Or maybe like, they met halfway.
Oh God, okay. I mean, I guess we got our answer in what was it? Sins of the Future? Which
Sins of the Future.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet. So I always thought it was been cool to know like what exactly happened there. And I wish that Forever Red was a two-parter.
Yes.
Same.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Some of the best choreography in the show, but I definitely wish it was a two-parter.
And I really did I really truly enjoy how they, and we don't get that very often with actually not anymore, period, with the other team ups. I really love their cute little one-liner, two-liners, whatever it is. And I kind of like how they show where they all kind of came from, like in the sense that like what they were doing at the time when they got the call, or what they were doing at the time when they got the message,
Right.
Kind of give us an idea what they were, or what they've been up to, or what they are up to. I really like that. And it just sucks that we don't get that anymore. We don't even get Rangers recognizing each other, let alone a line.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if that's true, because it seems like
perfect example. Sorry to cut you off. Kat and Tommy. They came back for Ninja Steel. They're supposed to be married with a kid named JJ. Do we want to talk about JJ again? Oh my God. Do we want to go there? And then remember, Steve was in it too. What, they didn't recognize Steve all of a sudden either? Even though, what was Rocky? Sorry, that was his name, Rocky. They didn't recognize Rocky, even though they spent 3 seasons together?
Years with them, yeah.
Like, come on.
And they acted like they did not know each other at all.
I was more so talking about the modern day Rangers recognizing legendary Rangers, because it seems like somehow they know who these people are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was talking
but we don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why. No, I was talking about the team up and how I like how Forever Red really did the whole. They recognized each other, they interacted with each other, and then they did the whole scene where they, what they were doing at that time when they got the call. So it was kind of nice. And even just them coming together. And I love the end scene where they all, kind of have a little, I don't know, I guess you call it party, setting off. I don't even know what you call it, right? But it was super cute how they bonded, even though they may not have known each other. They knew each other by the end of it. They're like, this is what bonds us, It gave them that, that really cute, oh, look at that, where with all the other team up that we have later on, they don't recognize each other, let alone like they were married. They don't even know each other. You know, so it's just like, what the heck is happening here? But I wish we had more of that, more of that interaction, more of that bond, and obviously more than a single word line.
No, I definitely agree with that 100%. It's just like, you know, these newer team ups, they just like they're just no, like it's a no.
And we don't, and go back with Will was saying too, like these newer future Rangers, or not future Rangers, but these newer Rangers seems to know about the legendary Rangers, but we really have no idea. Other than Megaforce, where you have Noah who seems to know it, and what was the last season? Beast Morpher. Other than Beast Morpher, because they obviously talk about learning in school or learning in their classes.
Ranger history class that we've never been inside of, and that bothered me a lot.
Which would have been a great, it would be really cool if they have a whole entire series on just like Ranger history class where we could take it as like a bystander. That would be so cool.
I agree. That would be. I feel like, damn, that's something that would have been perfect for Megaforce to lead up to the big battle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my thing is, like, what really gets me, especially if you want to go from the difference of like the older series versus the newer ones, when it comes to just team ups and bringing back older characters, it felt like the older season because they always wanted to include the newer ones and make them be at the forefront and tell their story, but also recognize, hey, these old people in the back though, they just as important. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whenever I hear these excuses from the showrunners now, being like, oh well, we have to, like Judd Lynn basically being like, oh no, the reason why it's all Megaforce is because it's their not Megaforce, Ninja Steel is because it's their season. So these other people, they're just kind of there just to help. It's like, no, if you go back to your Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, what is it, to the 10th Power, Power of Pink, Lightspeed Rescues with Lost Galaxy coming in, like those two-parters, those episodes where they actually came back, they actually had those Rangers do stuff because they were equally as important as the team that was currently there, and they showed that and they made them important. Like hell, Forever Red, at least we got something where when they would show up, they were like, oh yeah, well, my favorite entrance was Jason. I'm sorry, him coming in on that bike and them being like, well, we missing one, we missing one, and then they were just like, well, we're just gonna have to go without him. And then Jason comes all late. Granted, I'm like, I would have never thought Jason would be last, but late anyway. But he comes up, on his bike, and he's like, "You thought y'all thought y'all was gonna leave without me, the OG? Like y'all thought y'all was gonna leave without me? Whatever." You know what I'm saying? Like that was like that solidified right there. Like, yo, he's just as important, if not like one of the most important. You know what I'm saying? Like we're saving the best for last kind of thing. And they made him, especially during the fight scenes and all, like especially when they were fighting like on the moon, they really made them shine, and they gave them stuff to do, and like it was all the characterization in it with how like Jason kept calling Cole a newbie and then ended up respecting him in the end. It's like that's what we love to see. Those are the kind of interactions that we want to see. It's not enough to just bring them back and be like, oh, they're just here. They did a thing. All right, they're going. Bye. Time to move on. It's like, no. Let them shine.
Yep.
Let us see why they're there.
Right. And I think it really bothered me when you told me that they wanted the, that season's cast to be heavily involved. My thing is, so why even have a team up?
Right.
Why even have a team up? Because at the end of the day, they've been shining the whole freaking season.
Exactly.
It's about them. Like
it's about them.
Right? I don't think people will watch this and be like, Oh my god, am I watching like Mighty Morphin, not Ninja Steel? Oh, I'm confused now. I'm pretty sure that's not what they said.
No. And I mean, I feel like the showrunners now are so focused on, oh my God, it's a kid's show. We have to, pertain it to the kids. We have to make it, for the kids. It's like, you do realize, and they're like, oh, well, we'll give little nods for the adults. It's like, but we've done this before. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna do a two-parter, like if you're gonna bring back older Rangers or older characters, look at the older episodes so you can get an idea of what these things look like, because we've done them before and we did them well. Like, for me, one of the best two-parters is To the 10th Power. Like, watching the original In Space cast come in and they're like, actually, it's more of us, and they come stepping out and they're standing on that ledge. And I'm like, yes. And Cassie put her hands on her hips, like, yes, honey, here I am. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Ashley coming in with the long locks. And I mean, it's just like they all came back badass.
They did.
And it's like, this is what we want to see.
Yep.
We want to see this kind of stuff. We want to see them come back and be badass.
Yep.
And they had a reason to be there. That's the best part. It's not enough just for them to like come back in the middle of an episode and it's like, all right, we here. And not say anything.
And they had emotion. They actually had expressions.
Exactly. Like they had expression, they had intention. Mm-hmm. They had everything that makes them important to the actual plot.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but these new team ups, they don't do it. So it always kills me whenever I see people be like, just bring people back. Oh, bring them back in this, bring them back in that. It's like, y'all just want to see these people back, but it's not enough. I want to see, if you're going to bring these people back, bring them back and actually have them have an intention on being there.
Yeah.
Like make up an actual storyline that actually requires them to be there.
Yep.
Like they actually have a place and they're like, let me actually be there and have input.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me be there and let me have a reason to be here. Let me actually be here and like give my opinion on why I'm here.
Yep.
And suggest something to the new team that can help them.
Kind of like the SPD and the Dino Thunder team up. There was a purpose.
Right.
A purpose.
Exactly.
It could only be
Right. Exactly. That's the exact point I'm making. Make it so concise and so important that only that team, only that person could be there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's not enough just to, and that's why the Ninja Steel one got on my nerves so much. That's why I didn't like that one at all, because that like selection of Rangers, it was like, why are they there?
Yeah.
Like you just handpicked a whole bunch of Rangers for what? Mm-hmm. What are their purpose? What are their reasons for being there? Other than, we just picked some people out of a hat that we thought people would like and would remember. Oh, all right, let's bring them in.
Or even the legacy battle.
Now the legacy one, it's like, okay, I can see why they did that in a way. I can see why they did it because it's like all the other random suited Rangers were going to be there anyway. So it's just like, all right, let's just pick some random ones to say one little line and that's it. I can kind of understand that a little bit, but it was almost kind of like the Ninja Steel one went out of their way to be disrespectful.
They did.
It was like they went out of their way to be disrespectful. And I'm like, why do y'all do that? So that's why for me, when it comes down to the Saban ones, they really nailed it with the intention and being like, this is why we're here. You know what I'm saying? Now they did have some weak ones, like the Lightspeed Rescue and Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force. That one was the weakest one for sure.
Yeah,
it was definitely the weakest. And I wish that one was done a little bit better. But still, they still had some sort of intention on, trying to make it work, versus, it just being like, whatever, like we're just bringing back these random people and just giving them give somebody like a line and like, all right, peace out. It's just like, that's not enough. But one of the things that I didn't like, when going back to the original question, is as far as like, stuff that we didn't like. For me, it's the going back to like, stuff not being told, not being explained. Zordon. I had a gripe with Zordon. Like some people are just like, Zordon is the greatest mentor ever. I had a gripe with him. I never really cared for Zordon at all. I never cared for Zordon. For me, and I understand that Zordon was supposed to be this legendary sage who knows everything and all this stuff. Okay, if that's the case, then why didn't you just go ahead and prepare these Rangers a long time ago? Like, prepare them in battle and give them everything they need so that they'll have all the tools they need to fight. Versus like, whenever they get into a pickle, oh yeah, y'all do have some weapons that Alpha was working on in the back. Let me go ahead and grab them for you. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, them, and one of the things that really always bothered me, and of course this is just them trying to, tell a story, but it still aggravated me. Like, Zordon having that secret command center, the power chamber, just lying around. You weren't going to tell them about that? Oh, well, we thought we'd surprise you. They thought you were dead.
Yeah.
They thought you were dead. My God. What are you doing? Like, I never liked the way they did Zordon. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is why I actually preferred the 2017 version of Zordon, the movie Zordon.
He was an outlet asshole.
More. Oh, he was such an asshole, but I loved him though.
I loved him too.
I loved him.
Realistic, He wasn't trying to be all this high and mighty and like, I would never do no wrong situation, where he was like, nah, man, I could have done a better job than you, even though
exactly
couldn't, because that's why he's in the wall.
Exactly. Like, and that was my thing. It was like, you gave him a purpose. You gave him a purpose and an intention. And that's the one thing that I think the one reason why I didn't like Zordon at all was the fact that as a mentor, he never had a purpose. He never had an intention other than just to be there for the Rangers to give them answers when they needed it. Like, that was his only intention on being there. But what if you actually gave him a storyline and a purpose on why he's there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they actually did that? What if they actually made him into a real character? Like, how much more of an importance would he have been to the show, and would he have been to the team? I just felt like he was just there just to be there. And that's why I'm like, people give Demetria so much shit, but it's like, but she was literally, even though she was just like, she was always asking stupid ass questions, and then they got dropped once the old team left. But what if? But she was basically him. Like, she was basically Zordon. So it's like, you're mad at her for what? Like, you don't like her for what? Like, she literally did the exact same thing that Zordon was doing. So it's just like, I never liked that. Like, I prefer mentors. If you're gonna have a mentor, let them actually be essential to the actual story. Like, let them actually be just as important as the Rangers. Kind of like with Captain Mitchell in like we actually got to learn about Captain Mitchell. Like, he was in Carter's life the entire time, and Carter didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Or like, him, having this whole issue with his son. His son trying to kill him because he felt like he wasn't loved. Even though I was like, that's a little overboard, but
I don't know. I don't know so much about Mitchell as a good example, just because he
I like Mitchell.
It seemed like he also held things kind of close to the chest, like the episode where oh my god, it was maybe the second or third episode where the Rangers were they were doing these simulations where they had to save civilians from monsters, and like there's also like a burning building, and Carter thought that he got the fastest time and he thought he did everything right, but he messed something up. But instead of telling him what he did wrong, he just said, oh, you got the lowest score. You need to think before you use your blaster. And then, like, I don't know, like, I felt like he
Sometimes the
should have
obvious choice is the wrong choice.
Yeah, and I felt like he could have like showed him what exactly he did wrong so he didn't do it again, but then he just I think he was discouraged when he messed up when he actually went out on a mission to save a kid, and the kid got like a bunch of debris on him. And then after that, he found out what he did wrong. I think that's what happened, right?
That's exactly what happened. But and to counter that argument, actually, no. I actually agreed with it, with exactly what happened. I actually agree with it. I actually agree with how Captain Mitchell did it. Like the thing was, like, the reason why I agree with how he handled it is because if he would have told him what the problem was, if he would have told him off rip, then he would have never really actually learned it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times when, like, I feel like Captain Mitchell comes from like a place of like, if I tell you, it won't sink in. You have to experience it for yourself in order for you to really actually understand it. And maybe that's what he was trying to teach him, which is exactly how Carter ended up learning it. And the train, exactly, he ended up learning it the hard way. And the thing is, like, even when he told him, like, you got the lowest score, like, the thing was, it wasn't just about shooting. It was like about analyzing the situation and being like, okay, this is what I have to do. Oh no, I can't just start shooting, because if I shoot, I might end up blowing up the place. And that's what he was really trying to teach him. And that's why, it hit so hard with Carter being like, oh crap, like, that's what the training exercise meant. You know what I'm saying? So, and for him being a leader, especially, he needed to have that kind of training with him being a leader. Like everybody else, theirs was just kind of like, oh, we're just testing our physical attributes. But with him, he needed to, especially with him being the leader of the team, he needed to be able to exercise his mind just as well as he could exercise a blaster. So I felt like personally, that was a fantastic way of teaching him the lesson. I thought so.
Well, it was kind of, when you look back at it, it is kind of cool that not cool as in it was a good thing, but the fact that him screwing up actually had like a big consequence with a kid getting hurt.
Also, too, I want to also talk about that kid though. No offense, and I understand he was trying to do that, right? With it was very dumb. I understand that they obviously wanted to show a consequence and was being like, okay, this like, people actually do get hurt in situations like this and blah 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 blah, which is what I appreciate about Lights Rescue. They were not pulling any stops. Like, people were getting hurt all the time. However, one of the things that really got me about about Lights Rescue was that not only that, but they also were really serious about saving lives. It wasn't just about defeating monsters. It was actually about saving the lives of people. However, it also shows just how stupid people are. Because I'm sorry, if I'm seeing a Power Ranger fighting a monster, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit there and watch. Okay, like I'm not. Like, because first of all, in my head, instantly, if I see a monster, I'm running. Like, I'm not sticking around. Like, I'm not sticking around. I'm not going to sit there and try to be like, ooh, let me see. No, I'm out. Because 9 times out of 10, if there's a monster right there, there's probably more around there somewhere. Let me get out of here. They're standing there watching the whole thing. That's one. That's one where they messed up. 2, when Vipra shot up the place, shot the thing or whatever while it was on fire because she knew it was flammable, which I'm like, how does a demon know about flammable liquids? I don't know. But anyway, she knew the place was flammable. And then all of a sudden, like, she shot it. So the place starts crumbling and they're just standing there. I'm like, run. What are you doing? They're just standing there. Viper isn't there anymore. So the threat is gone. Why are you just standing there? You see the place is starting to crumble, but you're standing. Ah! What are you doing? Run. That was their fault. That child deserved to get hurt. Now, granted, I'm glad he didn't die, but he deserved to get hurt because you're your mom is a terrible parent. She's terrible because there's no way in hell I'm going to sit here with my child and watch this battle ensue. And then also watch a building crumble around me and not try to get to safety or not try to get out of there. Like, there's no way I wouldn't do that. Like, I'm taking my child and I'm getting the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm sorry, but it was to try to teach Carter that, obviously teaching the lesson and, whatever. But at the same time, she was a terrible parent and that child got hurt because that child and his mom were stupid for being there. So I'm sorry, I have no remorse for them. But yeah, like, I actually thought that Captain Mitchell, to me, I always thought he was a good mentor because I was just like he taught them valuable lessons, but he was also essential to the plot. Like, he definitely had a reason to be there as a character versus like, oh, I'm just here to give you information and that's it. Like, you knew him as an actual person, and he was frequently always like, well, not always, but he like trained with them. Like, he was like running with Carter and, like, he was cool. I like Captain Mitchell. So I don't know. Maybe that's me, but I liked him.
Did not like the whole Alien Rangers.
That's fair.
That whole Alien Ranger thing, I was like, that's so not necessary. There's so much questions. If anything, having them add more questions than actual answers, in my opinion. Because then it makes me wonder, what creatures live underwater? To battle from. And if your Megazord comes to be, does it pop his head out from the water? Like, how deep is your ocean?
Well, it's it's a different planet, so it wouldn't be the same as it wouldn't be the same as Earth's necessarily.
I mean, agree, but at the same time, it's like, what is on this planet that's such a threat?
Hydro Hog.
Like, I guess Hydro Hog was their Lord Zed.
This is true. They were interesting Rangers. I'm glad they didn't come back for more.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of questions. Because then it makes me wonder, how did they become Power Rangers? Because I thought in order to become Power Rangers, you need to have the coins.
It seemed like they had their own coins, right?
But I thought there was only so many that was designed.
Well, I don't know, because like the Alien Rangers, they didn't really have like an actual like morph or anything. They just said Aquatar Ranger Power and they morphed.
But they had coins though, that we saw them in their hands, but like we didn't get an up close shot. The coins
that they had just activated the battle boards.
Right.
Oh,
it was confusing for me because remember, like, Zordon and Alpha had to make the special coin for Tommy. They didn't have that white coin at all. They had to design that
they made it
for Tommy. So then I wonder who designed their coin.
Since they're from another planet, I would think somebody on that planet. Like, we know that the morphing grid is not exclusive to Earth.
No.
And we know that there's on different planets and different realities. Like, they're somehow able to tap into the morphing grid.
But then
it's just they just didn't talk.
But then that leads
Didn't
me
tell us that.
to the question: why were they not mentioned ever on Beast Morphers or the Legacy War? Wait, were they mentioned in the Legacy War?
They probably were in there. They had to be in there because they were in the footage.
Yeah, they were there. They were part of the Legacy where they just weren't like mentioned.
And you know, like this is it's another thing of you know, they never go to. We've never actually been to. Yes, we have. I was gonna say we've never been to Aquitar. Very briefly.
Yeah, we were there in Zio.
Very briefly, yeah. But they never like revisited it after that. Just like there's so many other planets that they either didn't revisit or we still have never seen before. Like we've never seen Eltar before.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've never seen Eltar at all.
Well, this is true, but yeah, this is true. But mind you, though, isn't Eltar destroyed? Like I thought Sora.
Was it destroyed?
Wait. Was it destroyed?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Was Eltar, because I remember Sora couldn't go back. So then I was under the impression that it was destroyed. That's why he couldn't.
No, he did go back. That's where he went when he left in Turbo.
I thought he was like he couldn't go back. And that's what? I'm confused now.
That's where he went in Turbo.
Yeah.
And then he came back for that ceremony.
And then he got a pass capture in space.
Yeah.
Right.
Eltar was under. Yeah, we found out in what was that? Chase into Space that Eltar had been
captured
under siege.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had captured Zordon.
Right.
Huh. I don't know why. I was under the impression that Eltar was destroyed or something like that.
Makes sense why you would think that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I believe Eltar is actually is still there. Just Zordon is dead, but Eltar is still.
I wonder, like, because he said he wanted to go back and see his family, and I wonder, like, what happened to his family? Is his family dead?
Right? That's
like,
what
we have no idea.
Did they only just kidnap him? They didn't care for his family, or did they kill his family?
They probably killed them.
Like, well, that was never mentioned.
Dang, that'd be messed up if they actually did kill his family. Because I'm sorry, Alpha 5 is dead. I don't care.
Yeah, like pretty much, like he dead. Yeah.
Alpha 5 is dead. Like, oh man. Oh,
I'll never not be sad at that idea. He definitely is in pieces. Like his body is like just frozen. Pieces of his body just frozen in space, floating around all these decades later.
Oh man, that's messed up. But no, so okay, so let's rank this, right? Because we know what we like, we know what we didn't like. You know, like if we were gonna rank our favorites and also combine Mighty Morphin all in one, like Mighty Morphin is all one thing.
Okay.
Because it'd be so difficult to break down like all 3 seasons.
Thinking about that before, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not doing that. So with that is, you know, if you were to rank them, what would be how would you rank them? What would be your lowest? What would be your highest?
For me, I would do Time Force, Space, Lost Galaxy, Turbo, Wild Force, Zeo, Lightspeed Rescue, Mighty Morphin, and then Alien Rangers.
Okay. Wow. That is actually very interesting.
Yeah, that's my ranking situation.
Okay.
But I think we should do another ranking where as a whole era later on. I can't even speak.
Oh gosh. That'll be something.
And you said Alien Rangers, right?
Yes.
You didn't include them, right? Okay, yeah. Okay.
I did at the last, yeah. They would be
Oh yeah, you said them last. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair. Well, do you need a little more time, or you want me to go?
I'm I think I got it. I'd say Space, Mighty Morphin, Lost Galaxy, Zio? Lightspeed. Actually, yeah, Lightspeed. Time for Space. Mighty Morphin. This is going to be weird to people, but Turbo. I actually really liked Turbo.
Hey, this is your ranking.
Lost Galaxy. Zio. Lightspeed Rescue. Time Force. Wild Force. And Alien Rangers.
Okay. So far our lists are extremely different. They are very different. I guess for me, mine would obviously, you already know, Zio is gonna be first for me.
Yep.
Always and forever. It's always gonna be Zio. Zio is first. Then I would probably go with In Space after. Then for me, it would be Time Force. Actually, Time Force, Lost Galaxy. Actually, I would go Turbo.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm not in the, as much as I have my reasons for Turbo being like, ugh. But overall, like, I genuinely, like, the second half saved it for me. So I have to go with Turbo. Lightspeed Rescue, Mighty Morphin, Wild Force, Alien Rangers. And that'll be my list.
Okay.
So I do notice something, though. Mighty Morphin, for for the most part, is towards the bottom of the list.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Which is very interesting. But yeah, so for the listeners out there, let us know. How would you rank the Saban era? And what are your likes and what are your dislikes? Let us know. We would love to hear it. And once again, like, subscribe, tell your friends, follow us. Listen, we are going to be doing wonderful things this year. We have an amazing interview coming up for you very soon. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. So yeah, my name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.